So what you have seen there, it was only the beginning. This 3 minutes video took her almost 2 months. So she has some perseverance, but she hasn't achieved her main goal of being zero waste. As you have seen on the video, there was still some waste material that she couldn't use. So then, as she has this dedication, she continued and evolved the project, and now she has something called SoundWool, which is acoustic panels from industrial wool waste, and she's going to tell us how she managed to find this new material.
So good afternoon. I'm really glad to be here. I'm from Hungary, and I'm also a textile designer. And as Dora mentioned, in my business I create acoustic panels using wool waste from the textile industry. After I graduated, I had a lot of questions about the possibilities of the sustainable future, so I continued my study in the doctoral school, and also I participated in a couple of professional trainings where I learned a lot about sustainable environment, market, communication, and ecological systems. And as a designer, I wanted to take more responsibility and find a solution for a real problem, which based on a material usage. So for my work, I found one of the last textile factory in Hungary, which is still working with the natural material. So I found it in Kőszeg, where is a felt factory, and they have a lot of cutting waste. In my first work, as you saw in the video, I created a 4 square meter panel and 9 smaller panels. So I spent more than 100 hours with the material, and at the end of the process, I had a lot of experience with the wool felt. So after this work, I continued and I created some carpets from the felt waste, and I created a traditional Japanese carpet too. But why was it interesting? Because we realized if the material reached a 3 centimeter thickness, their sound absorbing property will be better. It was a good and interesting news, but there was a problem with my method. Because I used several cutting techniques, which always generated cutting waste. And the other problem was the techniques that I used, they were not scalable. So I had another idea. How can I change my material approach, and how can I change the consistency of the material? With this idea, I participated in an international professional training where I learned a lot about sustainable approaches. I did a lot of experiments with the material, and after 1.5 years, I created my own material development. At the end of the process, I had a knocking hard material with a soft surface like a textile. And thanks for the structure and the 3 centimeter thickness of the new material, it has a very good sound absorbing property. So that's why we offer it for interior designers to use it where the echo is a really big problem. For example, in offices and public spaces. With this material development, we can offer a sustainable alternative solution because we use a local and renewable material with a low energy usage, which fulfill the well-being standard goals. I designed a modular system in order to be able to create scalable panels in different size and pattern. Next to the usual basic color palette, I started to work with the natural dyeing plants. So I wanted to create my own color palette too. My doctoral research named Raw Fiction Project was about a new material approach and about a new sustainable system. And in the picture you can see the modular system in action, as I mentioned earlier. After my graduation, I won the Big C Product Design Award, and I decided I will continue my work in this field, and I will take the next step. So I founded my own brand named SoundWool, which based on the spirit of my doctoral research. We started with a smaller panel, with the smaller works, and last year we had the opportunity to work together with Skanska, which is a Scandinavian construction brand. So we worked on a complete office space, which was a big challenge because of the size of the panels. This work was nominated for an international award, which was a great honor. At the end of the presentation, I would like to show you 2 projects in detail, which are important for me now. In the last 8 years, I worked with felt waste from the textile industry, but at the same time, I saw there is a big wool question around Europe, which is what should we do with unwashed wool? So I started to work with Hungarian shepherds, and I was looking for a solution to clean the raw wool and see what kind of potential it has. So I started with a traditional technique, and I worked with my hands, washed it in a creek next to my childhood home, and finally I used, of course, the sun to dry it. I created a small panel with blocks from the different stages of the cleaning process. With this installation, my goal was to join the conversation about this question and draw attention to it. Through this project, I figured out that my methodology is adaptable to raw wool as well. My other favorite project is create unique color palettes using dying plants, especially invasive plants. In this research, I am working together with a botanist colleague, and as a part of this research, I built up a course in my university where I teach my students this approach. Since all the methods provide us different plants, here you can see my color palette from June to October. In the future, of course, I would like to continue this work too. So the whole project started as a doctoral research, and it became a brand that created circular, sustainable acoustic panels from 100% wool waste with the potential of further growth. Thank you for your attention.